I welcome you, great minds. Thank God for another privilege to host you. I will be unfolding to you a global site with track record in constantly upgrading their informations regarding satellite beam, frequency, dish size, channel name, etc. The name is LinkSat. To all free-to-air satellite users, beginners, and professionals, satellite dish installers all over the world, linksat.com is very important website to get useful information. In every simple English, this tutorial will teach you on how linksat works and how to use it. Even Globesat, the international telecommunication giant from France, uses linksat. I remember a few years ago, back as a newbie, I was injected out from a group simply because I asked a question about satellite frequency. From that moment onward, I made up my mind to research and practice aggressively what I have learned and pass the knowledge to others freely. That is my mission. So if you are a seeker of knowledge satellite-wise, you are in the right place. You are free to tell me to make a video about a subject matter regarding satellites. I will be honored to do that. About the tutorial on the easiest way to predetermine the size of satellite dish, frequency, beam globally for beginners and professionals. Firstly, we will be looking at terminology associated with the site linksat and practically navigate around the site. So sit back and enjoy the ride. For now, let's pay homage to linksat as we look at terminology side by side. So sit back and enjoy the ride. For now, let's pay homage to linksat as we look at terminologies side by side. Let's open our Google browser or any browser of your choice, but I will be using Google Chrome from this end. We'll enter the following into the search box as follows. Linksat 28 is Africa. Okay. Linksat 28.2 East Africa. Okay, enter. Okay, we choose the one at the top. Okay, we are in the site already. Click on the first from the top. Now that we are on the site, let's continue with the terminology. Okay, terminologies are as follows. The first on it is longitude. Okay, longitude. Second is frequency. Third, we'll be looking at beam. Fourth is polarization. Fifth is carrier to noise ratio, that is CN log. Okay, then let's define longitude. Interestingly, you need a bit of your knowledge of geography. Okay, satellite positions are named after the corresponding longitude line on the earth. A longitude is a geographic coordinate that tells us the east or the west position of a point on the earth from the prime meridian, that is the equator. Okay, it is an angular measurement and expressed in degrees. For example, Multi TV Ghana at 28.2 east is orbiting signal from Earth to equator to the Earth at 28.2 east. Okay, so let's pause and have a look at. You can see from the site, longitude is the name that is named after the satellite. From what we are seeing here, you can see Astra 2F Eutelsat 28F at 28.2 degree east. Okay, so 28.2 east is the longitude. Okay, so next we are going to look at the frequency. Okay, now we'll be looking at frequency. Okay, frequency, which is the second factors. The following are the most common frequencies that are used in satellite transmission. We have others, we have a lot of them, but first we are going to look at K-band. Okay, K-band. This ranges from this is the frequency that ranges available by used by satellite communication system at around 30 gigahertz from the uplink and 20 gigahertz for the downlink. The Ka band is used in particular for satellite internet services and regional broadcasting. Number 2 on the frequencies is Ku band, is the most common. The range of frequencies attributed to satellite communication system is around 14 gigahertz or 18 gigahertz for the uplink and 11 to 12 gigahertz for the downlink. The Ku band is often used for television services via satellite and for VSAT network. Okay, the next also C band, which is the third one, that is mostly used for bigger dish. This is the band between 4 and 8 gigahertz, with the 6 and 4 gigahertz band being used for satellite communication. Specifically, the 3.7 to 4.2 gigahertz satellite communication band is used as downlink frequencies in tandem with the 5.92.5 to 6 gigahertz band that serves as the uplink. Okay, when we say frequency, we are talking about, for instance, on this site now we will see 12525V, that is frequency. Okay, 12525V, that is frequency for tracking multi TV. Okay, so let's go back to the tutorial. We'll still come back to the site. Okay, next on the terminology is beam, and is defined as a unidirectional flow of radio waves concentrated in a particular direction. A term commonly used to refer to an antenna's radiation pattern by analogy with a light beam. It is most often used to describe the radiation pattern of satellite antennas. The intersection of a satellite beam with the Earth's surface is referred to as beam's footprint. Okay, next we are going to look at polarization. We'll go to beam later, but polarization is the phenomenon in which radio waves are restricted to certain directions of electrical and magnetic field variation, where these directions are perpendicular to the direction of wave travel. By convention, the polarization of a radio wave is defined by the direction of the electric field vector. 4 senses of polarization are used in satellite transmissions: horizontal S, which is linear polarization; vertical Y, linear polarization; right hand circular polarization; and left hand circular polarization. Okay, next on the terminology is CN, which stands for carrier to noise ratio, and is a measure of the quality of modulated carrier at the receiver input. It is the ratio of the power of the carrier to the power of the noise introduced in the transmission medium, measured within a specific bandwidth, usually the modulated carrier bandwidth. Okay, it is usually expressed in decibel. The higher the ratio, the better quality of the received carrier. In addition to the above terminology, before tracking a satellite, you need to know the name of the satellite. For example, multi TV on its longitudinal degree, which is 28.2, and in beam Africa, this is what we will use to discover the frequency and the symbol rate. For example, 12525V 30,000 is one of the tracking frequency for multi TV. 12525V is the frequency and 30,000 is the symbol rate, which is SRO. This is what you will impute into the decoder prior to tracking. Please note that, okay, let's go to practical. From the above explanation on frequency and symbol rate, as we've earlier indicated, 12525V is the frequency and your symbol rate is, you can see here, SRO. You can see this column, SRO. Okay, so what you have under, you can see 30. So that is what you will impute into your decoder. You impute 12525V, that is your frequency, inclusive of 30. Okay, 30,000. So that is the combination of your frequency and your symbol rate. Okay, so let's go back to the tutorial. In addition to the above terminologies, before tracking a satellite, you need to know the name of the satellite. For example, multi TV or longitudinal, which is 28 points. Okay, please note that system MPEG 4HD DVB-S2 DVB UA, those are what they call system. Encryption is the type of decoder that will decode the system, and the type of encryption i.e. powerful Tangberg, Bisky, video guard, etc. respectively. Okay, so let's go back to the beam and the D size. Okay, on system and encryption, you can see from the top here, system and encryption. What they mean by system, it shows that the type of decoder that you will be able to use to track that particular frequency. Okay, meaning that, for instance, if you have a DVB-S decoder, it will be able to track a signal, but it will not be able to display the picture, assuming the picture is meant for 4K. So you understand by the system. That is what I mean by system. The encryption means the type of key that is used to lock that particular frequency. Okay, let's say, for instance, if we scroll, as we are scrolling now, you will see that at this particular frequency of Sky Sat UK, which is 12246V, you see that it is protected by video guard. Okay, so system and encryption go hand in hand. You may have your decoder may be able to lock or track a signal, a frequency, but it's not able to open it. There are two things that are involved. You must have the required kind of decoder that will be able to display the picture in it. Then the video guard is the key for you to be able to open it. Okay, so when you talk of encryption, those are what the pay TV they use to lock their particular frequency. Now let's go over to the beam and the D size, which is very, very important. How will you be able to know the D size that is meant for a particular frequency? Okay, so here now let's look at the frequency that we are using, which is for multi TV, which is 12525V. Under it you see West Africa, and it is highlighted underneath. So you click on West Africa and it's opening now. So on it you see this map that shows all of Africa. Then you will now see the border around the coverage area, which is called the footprint. Okay, now if you look at it inwardly, you see that 49 is at the middle. 49 is at the middle, close to the middle. Okay, as well, from there you move downward, you get to 43. Okay, so it means that the area that has a bigger value of EIROP, it shows that you use a smaller dish to track it. Okay, so you can see that as you are moving away from the middle, when you have the more concentrated radiated power, as you are moving out of it to the outside, it means that you are having a smaller IROP figure. Okay, you are having a smaller IROP figure. Okay, the meaning of IROP stands for EIROP stands for effective isotropic radiated power. It is the measured radiated power of an antenna in a specific direction. It is also called equivalent isotropic radiated power. It is the output power when a signal is concentrated into a smaller area by the antenna. The EIROP can also take into account the losses in the transmission line connectors and includes the gain of the antenna. It is represented in decibel. Okay, enter the transmitted power, cable loss and antenna gain to calculate the EIROP, effective isotropic radiated power. From the table, increase in EIROP value will ensure that the use of smaller dish size of dish. Okay, please close to the exterior of the beam or outside the beam needs a larger size of dish to track it. Go through the video as many times as possible for improved understanding. Okay, like what I've said earlier on, you see that outside the border of the footprint, you see that the EIROP figures are they become smaller. That's outside, meaning that you need a bigger dish to be able to get the signal at that very point, because signals are weak at the border. Okay, but inside around Nigeria area and Ghana, you see that you have a bigger EIROP figures of 50. So meaning that when you have a bigger EIROP figure, you need a smaller dish to track it, because that is where the concentrated power of that very satellite is. Okay, so you can look at the map, you can see the figure how it is. It is bigger or greater at the middle, while it is smaller at the outside. So at the outside point, people around Chad, people around Niger, people around Angola, they need a bigger dish to track it than people that are in Nigeria and in Ghana. Okay, so if you have not subscribed to this very channel, please do that. Also share it to others. We await your comment and likes at the comment section. God bless you.